is good? What is happening, everybody? It's your boy Ferris Muthana. And welcome to another special episode of Good Friends, Better Rivals, episode 76. Guys, that's 3/4, almost to 100. Who would have thought we would be here? I sure didn't, because I thought
Wow,
we
they
were
didn't
gonna
have
hate
faith
it.
in us.
Well, I didn't have faith in you, so it is what it is.
Well,
Um,
screw you.
you should have saw that coming. All right, that comeback was coming. No, I did have faith. It's two dudes talking football. We're just talking football, man. Just talking football.
Well, I talk
We
football.
what?
I don't know what you talk.
I talk football. Man, I've forgotten more football than you'll ever know. Okay, zip it. All right,
No, I
zip
don't know
it.
what you be talking about sometimes.
You and your narrow-minded ass. Get out of here.
Mm.
All right. Yo, man, you remember the first ever episode? You remember that on stereo?
Was it on YouTube?
No, it was on stereo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, we were just chilling, taking calls. Dang, I wish we could take calls again, but can't, so it's fine. But guys, I'm Ferris
You
Muthana.
literally have a thing that could takes calls.
That's true. That's true. We can, but I would need to get another phone number. I'm not trying to give you out my personal phone number. That's not happening. That'd be weird.
Go ahead.
How about you give him your phone number? Oh wait, no, you don't have one.
No.
Sorry. Yeah, no.
I don't
Guys,
have a
I'm
phone
Ferris.
number. Everybody has a phone number.
No. I know you have a phone number. I'm just saying you don't have one of these. You don't have one of these.
Yeah.
You don't have one of.
Hey, baby, let's go.
You don't have one of them. You know, something the Giants will not be doing this year.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs?
Something the Cowboys will be doing. Guys, I'm Ferris Muthana. That's my boy Caleb. I was trying to say that a couple of times before he kept interrupting me. We'll be talking New York Giants devastation in Vegas and a painful loss in Philadelphia for the Eagles. But before we get to that, couple of NFL news. Daniel Jones tore his ACL in the game. The Thursday night game happened. Chicago versus Carolina. And it was, did you watch the game, Caleb?
Last night?
Yeah, last night.
No. Who the hell watched that game?
Oh, wow. Caleb not watching a football game. Interesting, huh?
I mean, was that a football game? I didn't know that was a football game.
Oh. See, now Caleb, I've kind of rubbed off on Caleb. I don't watch bad football. I don't do it. I don't watch bad football. I will not watch bad football. I won't do it. I would rather watch anything else but bad football.
I could not give there was no way I was going to watch that game.
Yeah.
No way in hell I was going to watch that game.
Bears won 16-13. I think Carolina did not score a single offensive touchdown. I think their only touchdown was a punt return. And the Bears are bearing. Tyson Bagnet is 2-2 as Bears starting quarterback. That's actually more wins. Right. It's Bagnet.
It's Bagnet. I thought it was Bagent. Yeah.
Bagent? It's Bag and ENT.
Bagent. No, it's Bagent.
Tyson Bagent?
Bagent. No.
Bagent?
Bagent.
Bagent?
Yes.
Bagent. Tyson Bagent.
Bagent.
Okay, makes more sense. So Tyson Bagent, actually, Caleb, I believe in back-to-back years, Caleb. How many wins did the Bears have last year? 2? 1?
Yeah.
So Justin Fields has 3 or 2 wins over the last 2 years, and Tyson Bagent has 2 wins.
Tyson Bagent has as many as wins as Justin Fields had last year. So yeah.
Yeah. So it's 3 overall the last 2 years. That's 3 wins for Justin Fields and 2 for Tyson Bagent in one season.
Yep.
And then the discussion is gonna be, should they switch back to Justin Fields? What should they do with Justin Fields? Blah blah blah, all that jazz. But
unless they want, unless they think they're gonna up his value if he plays well, like that's the only reason to. Otherwise, why?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. If they want, I don't know what Chicago's doing. I don't think they. I think the NFL does more harm than good for future NFL quarterbacks. They don't develop them. They destroy them more often than they develop them. There's a graveyard of quarterbacks. Just a graveyard of quarterbacks. And then you have the special ones who you develop and they work, like Patrick Mahomes coming into the NFL, he was raw. He was a gunslinger, he was raw. And then they gave him to Andy Reid. And Andy Reid was like, I'm gonna make you the best quarterback ever. And he did. It happens. Jalen Hurts wasn't very good in Philly early on, and then Nick Sirianni got hold of him, has developed him pretty nicely. Dak Prescott, I don't know who developed. Dak Prescott is a Dan Mullen disciple out of Mississippi State. He had some good fundamentals, but then Dallas got him. I believe who was the offensive coordinator.
He's had multiple OCs, multiple quarterback coaches, so he's gonna have had a bunch of different guys.
What's up, Brian? Yeah, and he's done good for himself. But yeah, man, they do more harm than good, honestly, to my opinion. I haven't seen a quarterback developed by Kyle Shanahan. Like Kyle Shanahan's this great offensive guru. People are big fans of him offensive wise. But can you name a quarterback he's ever developed? The deafening silence proves it all right there. The silence proves it all. But overall, the reason I'm talking about quarterbacks is quarterbacks are keys to our teams. So let's go right into it. The Dallas Cowboys were against Philly. They lose against Philly 28-23. Caleb, what happened in the game? I heard there was controversy, but I didn't really see much. But so take us through. And you know what? And unfortunately, Jerry Jones could not have his.
I want me some glory hole.
Not this week for you, Jerry. Not this week. Not this week. But
well, I mean this week, but not last week.
Not last week, but definitely this week. Not last week, but definitely this week. So Caleb, hit me.
All right. Obviously Cowboys lose 23-28. Tough loss in the end there. But going into it extremely confident. And I think I had every reason, at least seeing the result of how they played. I was definitely justified in that confidence with how the Cowboys play and match up against the Eagles. I think we're a great matchup against the Eagles. I think that, especially Dak Prescott, he plays really well, and I think he played really well in this game, at least for the most part. He did have some questionable decisions, and ultimately he just couldn't get it done in the end. I mean, that's just what it came down to. And, he's got to make the plays to win the game. But, it's hard to win the game when you do have to play against the refs, because that's what we did all game long, is get BS penalties against us. And the ones that should have been called against the Eagles, and we just didn't get it. We just couldn't get it. I mean, just the BS against the offensive line. The offensive line of the Eagles it's just stupid. I mean, they're false starting on every play. They are false starting on every play, and they are never getting called. And it's not just this game; it is every other game that they played. Especially, you can just tell in that Dolphins game that the Eagles are just being favored by the refs in these games. I mean, you go back to that Dolphins game, 10-0. In this game, they're getting calls like crazy. You're just completely favoring the Eagles. And I don't know. I don't know why.
But if you look at the stats, you were both called for the same amount of penalties and similar yardage.
Yeah.
How can you?
But they caused a lot more penalties on their offensive line. I'm just talking specifically their offensive line.
Should have been more than 10.
Yes, absolutely. Because because they don't call the false starts. They're false starting on every play. I mean, and you don't call it. I mean, they're getting the jump on the snap every single play, and you're not calling it. It's ridiculous. I mean, how do you not see it? That's
Are we talking about Lane Johnson? Are we talking about Lane Johnson?
Yes.
Continue.
He's getting a false start every play, and they're not calling it. Obviously we get a BS holding call when our guy all he does is pancake a guy. We get a BS PI call when Stephon Gilmore doesn't even touch the guy, doesn't even touch him, yet somehow it's a PI. And we don't get a PI on Ferguson on the, when he gets stopped at the 1, when the dude tackles him before the ball's even there. I mean, it's just multiple penalties that are just stupid and just didn't go our way. So it's hard to win when you're just playing against the refs like we did. But still had a chance to win. We still had a chance to win. We still got to make the plays, and we still got to win the game when we had our opportunities, and we didn't do that. And the questionable decisions I was talking about with Dak, came in on 4th down on the second to last drive that we had the ball. He throws it to Jalen Tolbert. Why are you throwing it to Jalen Tolbert on 4th down when really? Why are you not going to CeeDee Lamb? CeeDee Lamb has 11 catches in this game, and you're going to Jalen Tolbert. What kind of decision is that? Like I just don't.
Was CeeDee Lamb open?
Don't get that. I just don't get that. I don't care what the play call is. That you shouldn't even be looking at Jalen Tolbert at all. You should be looking at CeeDee Lamb.
88.
Yeah. I mean, even if you don't convert it, at least I know that you threw it to the right guy. At least you.
But isn't the right guy the open guy?
Making plays all game. No, the right guy is the best guy that's going to make the play.
But what if the best guy isn't open and he can't make a play? Isn't the right guy the open guy? What if Jalen Tolbert is wide open?
The one that's going to catch it. The right guy is the one that's going to catch the ball.
So if Jalen Tolbert is wide open, don't pass him the ball.
He wasn't, though. He wasn't wide open.
But he wasn't wide open.
No, I mean,
so it was going on was it a 50-50 ball?
Yeah, it was more like, there was a guy on him. He could have made the catch if he tried, if he was a better receiver, I guess. But it's just I don't care what the play call is. I think you just go to CeeDee Lamb no matter what, to be honest. Because he's the only guy making plays for us. And that's part of it, man. The fact that CeeDee Lamb's making all the plays for us is just not enough. It's not enough to win these games against, these top teams like the Eagles. It's just not enough to get it done. And all we can do is go to him. But it was nice to see, Jake Ferguson starting to make plays and do better. But he should have more awareness on the 4th down to get the touchdown. He didn't run his route far enough. He could have run it right into the end zone, but he runs it short and doesn't get to the end zone. And that's the type of deal that I'm talking about. We don't have enough of these guys that are going to make the right play, like a CeeDee Lamb, and really get the win for us. He's just not enough.
It was like the Dalton Schultz play against the Niners where he should have turned up to continue to stop the clock.
Yeah. And that's the thing. We don't have enough of these guys that are going to make, the smart, the good play, make the big play like a CeeDee Lamb. That's all we got right now. That's going to do that for us. And that's why Dak keeps going to him. And it's going to work and blow out, these crap teams, but against the Eagles, just sign enough. And it's just really baffling why we don't go to Cooks. We're not even targeting him. We're not even targeting him. This guy we traded for this guy, and we're not even using him. So that's what I don't get about what this offense is doing. We're not even going to him. We're not even looking at him, and that's why we can't score more than 23 right now against the better teams. And it's just very, very frustrating because obviously I went to training camp. I saw throughout training camp that they had a very good connection, Dak and Cooks. And for some reason,
why isn't he being used more?
That's why I can't understand. I can't understand why it has not been showing up in the games. Because he's not even looking at them, to be honest. He's not even looking his way. I just don't get that. I don't get why we can't do more with him. But also, we can't get a run game going. It's basically all on Dak. It's all on CeeDee Lamb. Pollard gets 12 carries, and that's why I said all last season when everybody wanted to give Pollard all the carries. He's just not number one back, And that's why I said, I mean, everybody was overrating him and saying, oh, look how great. Oh, he's so much better than Zeke. Oh, he's great in this and that. He's a complimentary back. I mean, he was great complimenting, making explosive plays when he had Zeke to run downhill, take all the hits, and Pollard can't do that. And I said he couldn't do that. I was saying he couldn't do that. I was like, okay, wait till he gets all these carries and see what's going to happen. And he can't do it.
You
and
feel
I was saying it
vindication?
the whole the last, because I've been saying it. And when everybody's saying, oh, Pollard should get all the carries for the last 2 seasons, I was like, no, he shouldn't. And, you know, we see the results of it. Now we'd have no run game because we only have Pollard and we don't get enough to Rico Dowdle, and we can't get a run game. We don't even get enough to Pollard because, you know, and and it just results in, you know, Dak kind of having to do everything. And then pretty much doing everything and trying to get him to Lamb. And that's basically our offense now. And a big factor of why we lost, Dak got sacked 5 times because the offensive line was completely awful. Just terrible. And the biggest culprit of that awfulness was Terrence Steele. My God, did this man just be like a drone, man. It didn't matter who was on him. I mean, there was multiple guys on his side, different guys, and it didn't matter who was on him. He was getting beat. I mean, my goodness, he was terrible in this game. Just getting that killed back there. And that showed up in the final drive where Dak had to got sacked, took the sack when time was running out, when we're inside the 10-yard line. And that's the kind of things that's the kind of things why we don't get it done. It's because we have something always goes wrong, bad offensive line in that drive. He gets sacked, and then now we're way backed up, and now we can't make a throw. It's always something, man. It's always something with this team that holds us back.
Man, that Hassan Reddick, man, he's a nightmare, isn't he?
Yeah.
Hassan Reddick, man,
it definitely is. And then on the other side, I mean, the defense gave up 20 points. Obviously, that's not great, but it just didn't feel like it didn't feel like the Eagles' offense was going off. Yeah, I mean, 4 touchdowns, but it just didn't feel that way, at least to me, because no one individual on their offense really, had a huge game or anything. Hurts only had 207 yards. Swift only had 43 yards, 2.4 average. A.J. Brown didn't go out. He only had 66 yards. So it felt like the defense was, really, stopping them on their individual assignments. But just as a whole offense, the Eagles kind of just made the plays that they needed to in those crucial moments. The crucial moments on the drives where they needed to make the play, the Eagles made that play. And that's how they end up scoring. Getting up to 28 points. And then that's the whole thing about it. They made the plays that we didn't. And that's kind of resulting in us losing. When they needed to make the play, we needed to get the 4th down, needed to get the 3rd down, needed to get the touchdown. They made those plays. Ball bounced their way. It didn't bounce our way. Because I really felt like we outplayed them. And I think the numbers show that. The fact that we outgained them 406 yards to 292 yards, the fact that we had more first downs, like 27 to 21 first downs. I felt like we were the better team that, or at least a comparable team to them, just as good as them. And we end up on the wrong side because we didn't make the plays that they did, and that's how we end up losing this game. And that's basically I still feel that way. I still feel like we're a worse team. I still think we're just as good as them. We just gotta figure out how to make those plays in the crucial moments to get a win when we're playing these top teams.
No, I completely agree. I think these two are evenly matched teams. I don't think there's not a lot separating you two. Like honestly, like literally nothing. Like it's like microscopic. It's literally microscopic. Honestly, you guys still being comparable with them, even though you lost your best starting your number 1 corner. It says a lot. That says a lot. Also, too, at the end of the second half, on 3rd and 3, when Michael Gallup drops a wide open ball, you need to convert that.
Yeah.
Yo, y'all settled for a field goal, but y'all could have had another set of downs. Y'all could have gotten into the end zone. So like those little moments, Caleb, man, it's the cliches, Caleb. You know them, I know them. Football is a game of inches. It's a game of a select few plays. Everyone knows
and
it.
A select few decisions. I mean, if Mike McCarthy doesn't go for a fourth down, decides to kick the field goal, guess what? It's 26-28. Maybe on the final, we don't have to go in for a touchdown now on the final drive. We can just kick a field goal, win the game. It's it comes down to inches. It comes down to a few decisions like whether you want to go for it or not.
Yeah, pretty much, man. It's pretty much. It's a good summary. We'll talk about the Cowboys a little bit later on in the show when they're going up against my New York Giants. But before we talk about that, we talk about the New York Giants game in Las Vegas. They were against Caleb's second team, the Vegas Raiders. And let's just say this. It went from bad to worse to goodness gracious, someone stop me and shoot me. It was just a bad game all around. I'm not gonna break down. I watched some all 22, but I quit watching it right away because I'm like, I know how this ends. Daniel Jones, big story. Like I said earlier, he tears his ACL. I believe in the second quarter he did. It was in the second quarter. He trips over, I believe, Evan Neal, and he just falls down. Right? You honestly, you don't think nothing's going on, but then on the very next play, he just falls. He literally just falls. He's in the pocket and he falls. And you're like, something's wrong. Like something is wrong. He just legitimately he was standing, Caleb, and he just falls. They take him off the field. It was non-contact. So people assume, like most non-contact injuries in the NFL nowadays are two injuries. It's either an Achilles tear, where you're running and your Achilles just pops, or your ACL pops. Usually that's what happens. It was confirmed after the game. He tore his ACL. He's not going to have surgery yet because he needs to rebuild muscle around the ACL. You know how all that, the medical terms, and then they'll do surgery. So it's Tommy DeVito time for the rest of the year.
Tommy DeVito.
But here it is, man.
Danny DeVito's cousin.
Danny DeVito's cousin.
Is that true? Is he related to him?
No, they're not related, fool. But here's the thing: we're against the Raiders. The Raiders just fired their GM and their head coach. It's an interim head coach, and Antonio Pierce, very familiar to Giants fans. Antonio Pierce was one of our leaders of that 2007 Giants team. For years, I've been saying we haven't had a linebacker that was good to great since Antonio Pierce. But now we do, and Bobby Okereke and Mike McFadden, they're finally, showing up. Antonio Pierce was our last great linebacker, I think. He wore the number 58 with pride. The number 58 is coming down from Carl Banks. The one number I think should be retired, but isn't retired. But I kind of like what they're doing with it, where they give that 58 to a dog in the linebacking core. Like, you're going to wear 58. You're going to wear 58. And they gave it to Bobby Okereke, and it was a good decision. So I like that. But overall, man, it was kind of a bad game.
But like I said, even with all that, even with all the firings and all the new stuff and all the new quarterback, they were still favored. And Vegas knew they were a better team.
No,
even
because here's
with
the
all
thing,
that.
man. Here's the thing. But here's the thing about the Raiders, right? People were saying, what's wrong with the Raiders this year? People were like, what's wrong with the Raiders? They never talked about their talent. It wasn't like, oh, they're lacking talent. They don't have players. They're lacking talent. No, they had talent. No one. The problem was their head coach wasn't good.
And quarterback.
That was the problem. Like, no one's ever said the Raiders had no talent.
Wasn't good either.
Huh? Oh, the quarterback.
Garoppolo wasn't good either.
Yeah, you're right. Garoppolo wasn't good either. So because the reason they downgraded in quarterback is because their head coach last year said, I don't want Derek Carr. I want Jimmy Garoppolo, which was a bad head coaching move. I guarantee you, like, if Derek Carr is still on this team and they fired Josh McDaniel and replaced him with Antonio Pierce, I think the Raiders could be doing something. But the problem is they are stuck with Aiden O'Connell and Jimmy Garoppolo. And Antonio Pierce, man, he ripped the Band-Aid, was like, no, we're not starting Jimmy Garoppolo. He ain't good. We're going with the rookie. We're going with the rookie. That's what we're doing. You know, and Antonio Pierce is kind of like it's an audition for Antonio Pierce. Does he want this head coaching gig? You know? Does he want this head coaching gig? So here it is. And then my thing is this, man. It's new coach bump. They're playing hard. Their best players are playing better because they want to play for the coach. People forget, man, players play better when they want to prove their coach is right and they love their coaches. It happens all the time. These star players hated Josh McDaniels. You know how I know that? The game that the week they fire him, they play like this. They hated him. Josh Jacobs didn't like him. Devontae Adams didn't like him. Max Crosby probably didn't like him. They didn't like him. And then Mark Davis said, "Who do you guys like?" Antonio Pierce. Here it is. Boom. And they played their hearts out. Early on, they were pushing us around. They were running the ball effectively. They were hitting us in the mouth. There's one time Kayvon Thibodeau was off position and he whiffed on a tackle. But then, you know, the Tommy DeVito, man, it caught up to us. He threw 2 bad picks. One where he underthrows Jalen Hyatt. You never underthrow Jalen Hyatt. You have to overthrow him. He underthrows Jalen Hyatt. Then there's another interception where it kind of wasn't Tommy's fault. He throws it to Darius Slayton. It tips off his hand. And then, you know, Caleb, tip drill, get the ball. And the Raiders got the ball and they came down and they scored. Yeah. That's pretty much, you know, like, and then I believe, I truly believe.
Previous game.
Huh?
I don't know why you ran it like 36 times the previous game. Why didn't y'all just do that?
That's the thing, Caleb. Let me talk to you about it. When we were running the ball early on with Saquon Barkley, we were effective. 8, 6, 7, 8, 6, 7. That's what happens. Evan Neal ends up hurting his ankle. I think running the ball helps the pass game. And it helps it helps the offensive line and pass blocking too. But apparently they wanted to, like, you know, mix it up, which is weird to me because, like, if you're going to run the ball 1,000,000 times against the Jets, whose defense is way better than the Raiders, is what people say, why don't you run the ball 100 times against the Raiders? You know, who cares? And we were running the ball effectively. Personally, I think I would have started Mark Glowinski over one of the other guys. Mark Glowinski's been playing good. You know, you got to reward him. I'll probably start him over Ben Bredesen, and because I've seen enough of Ben Bredesen to be like, let's just see what Mark Glowinski does. And the game kind of fell flat for the Giants. You know, I believe after the Daniel Jones injury, I think the game was like, you know what, man, let's go home. I want to go home. You know what I mean? It was nothing, bro. It was just like, why are we here? Daniel Bellinger played well in his moments. I'm a big fan of Daniel Bellinger. But yeah, man, our defense is not. Our defense kind of was like, meh. It also doesn't help, you know, we lost Leonard Williams in the trade. Leonard Williams, you know, you may not have liked him, but he was a good run defender. And we probably needed him against Josh Jacobs because with Leonard Williams, we had 3 solid run defenders and a great defensive tackle in Dexter Lawrence who does both. You know, it was him, Ashawn Robinson, and Nacho. Those 3 are good, phenomenal run defenders. And, you know, the Raiders don't want to run the ball, so it makes sense. But we lost Leonard Williams. And
so
I think the biggest...
grinded it out whole game?
What?
They just basically ran the ball and grinded it out against.
Yeah, pretty much, because Aiden O'Connell really didn't do anything. Like, he honestly really didn't do much. They ran the ball effectively. They didn't just run the ball. They ran it effectively. You know, they ran it effectively. So they're running. I think their rushing stats are. So we actually outrushed them 125. But they ran it effectively because they mixed the match with the running game to the passing game. A good running game helps the passing game. They use play action a lot. Josh Jacobs had 26 rush carries, 98 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jacoby Myers with his jet sweep. But there was just moments where, Devontae Adams was like open, and there was it was third down, I think, and Jacoby Myers just kind of shook Deonte Banks off the line and was wide open on a slant. So that's what happened is, people's passing games look better because they ran the ball. They ran the ball. And I don't think we use play action enough. We need more play action. People need to do it. I think that's been of our biggest problem this year. I think I don't feel like we're using play action more. I haven't seen the stats on the percentage of play actions, but every time I watch the Giants, it feels like we don't do a lot of play actions because we're always behind. We're always behind. So we're not running the ball. So play if you're down 15 and you're doing a play action play down 15, the linebackers aren't going to be like, oh, they're running the ball. It's like, no, they're doing play action. And they stay home. I hope linebackers, if they have half a brain, it would make sense. So we're always behind. We're always behind. The one game we weren't behind and we ran the ball effectively, the Jets, we ran the ball effectively. We ran it 1,075,000 gajillion times. So it made sense. But when you're down, why run the ball, Caleb? Why? Makes no sense.
You're probably not going to do anything passing wise either.
Yeah, but you got to pass.
It's your most effective offense. That's why.
Yeah, but then you're wasting too much time. You need to score fast.
Yeah,
to get back in the game.
But you have Tommy DeVito as your quarterback.
Yeah, I know, Caleb. But at the end of the day, the problem is, who cares? You don't want to run the ball because you're wasting too much time. You need to preserve time. So you need to get chunk plays. And how you get chunk plays, you need to pass the ball through the air.
I think you're just kind of hoping that Saquon Barkley's going to break one, and that's how you.
Yeah, you hope. Play. You hope, but when you have 8 people in the box. By the way, so it is what it is. Also, too, the Daniel Jones injury came at the end of the first quarter, at the beginning of the second quarter, it was 18 seconds. But yeah, the season's over. The season's over. The Giants season is over. A lot of Giants fans have shifted to the draft, and a lot of them have shifted to the quarterbacks in the draft. Shedeur Sanders, Drake May, Caleb Williams, those 3. We can throw in Michael Penix Jr. in there as well. I think those are the top 4 in next year.
Any one of those can actually. How long do you think it'll take his ACL to heal? Because this is November. We're November. So how long does it actually take? Does it take a full year, or does it take 9 months? Because even not 9 months would go into maybe the first part of the season.
Yeah. So Wan'Dale Robinson, our wide receiver, he tore his ACL around this time. So the report was he was actually ready for the start of the season. The Giants just didn't play him early on. So I think ACL injuries and recoveries nowadays are now quicker and faster. But if you're drafting a quarterback in this year's draft, if the Giants get the 2nd pick overall, and they have to pick either Drake May or Caleb Williams, because it's looking like Carolina is not winning any games. It's looking bad for Carolina. I'm sorry, Brodney. I'm sorry, D-Weezy. It's looking bad. The thing is, if you're doing that, you're moving on from Daniel Jones, and good for his recovery, good for his rehabilitation. That's good, but you've moved on, and he's not your quarterback anymore. You honestly in the sense,
but you can't get rid of him next year. You have to keep him on the team.
You have to keep him next year. And then you can cut him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He won't. I think you can move. What I'm saying is you can move on. It could go faster if he's just not ready. He's not healthy enough at the start of the season. So it kind of moves the process of.
No, but the thing is, Caleb, if you're drafting a quarterback
right away,
but if you're drafting a quarterback in this draft, you've already moved on. You're like Daniel.
Well, I'm saying, but I know. But teams like to do the whole song and dance of starting the veteran and for a couple games and then finally putting the rookie in.
I'm with you.
If Daniel Jones was healthy, I think they would probably do that. But I think it just makes it easier to just, and if he say he's not healthy, because he probably won't be healthy, and say they
Probably won't.
put in the rookie right away.
Yeah. But yeah, I think, but I honestly think, if they do that, they're gonna start him anyway. They're gonna the rookie. They're gonna start the rookie regardless, because that's what they did with Josh Allen. Josh Allen had a veteran, and then they traded the veteran. Tyrod Taylor was right there. They shipped him off. Joe Shane comes from Buffalo. They grew with Josh Allen.
I think they would. Well, the reason why I would think they would, if he was Daniel Jones healthy, just because of the contract, just simply.
No, I think that's why they're going to keep him.
One more try.
They would keep him, but then
if he was healthy, they would start him. Just say, okay, we got to make it work. Just see one more time. See
based on the contract. But but either you do that, or you rip the Band-Aid off and you just move on. Like, we're done, man.
That's what they should do, because
that's what they should do. Because they, even with they tried to make it work this year. This team is the same team from last year with a couple of additions in Bobby Okereke and Paris. I think Bobby Okereke is the biggest addition on the defense, but offensively, they added Paris Campbell, who has done literally nothing.
Waller gets hurt.
They added Waller, but he just keeps getting hurt with the hammy. But when he was healthy, he was effective. So it was kind of like this. It was the same team that made the playoffs last year with two solid additions in Bobby Okereke, Darren Waller. Two solid additions. So we should have taken the jump, and it didn't work. It didn't work. Brian says, how much are the Giants in on Jones money-wise? What a complete waste of money. Should have given Barkley the cash. You know what? You're probably right. So I believe it's $40 million guaranteed. So it's $40 million guaranteed, plus an extra $25 million for an injury compensation. So $65 million, I think. I think $65 million. $65 million is what is owed. But it is what it is. It ain't my money. So I don't care. It ain't my money. If it was my money, I would have a better opinion on it. But also too, and then Tommy DeVito kind of looked good on that touchdown drive that we got the touchdown on. But it was one drive. I'm not falling for it.
How much are the Raiders up by then?
Yeah, they're up 27-0. So,
well, yeah, see, okay.
Yeah. But then the 2-point conversion play was just unmitigatedly stupid. But it was stupid, but I recognized the play because we ran it last year and it was effective. That's the thing. I knew like that play. We ran that play last year and we scored on a 2-point conversion. But it is what it is. But what can I say about this team? It's just been a big old mess. Honestly, I liked Isaiah Simmons on kickoff. A little auxiliary information. I'm always a big fan of him on the kickoff. And then, but my thing too is with the defense, no offense is as incompetent as the Jets with their offensive line and their quarterback. So it wasn't going to have the same defensive performance where the Giants defense showed up and like balled out. But, the Jets offense is not very good. So the Raiders offense is better. They have Devontae Adams. They have Josh Jacobs. And they effectively ran the ball. The Jets didn't effectively run the ball. Breece Hall had a quiet game like it was nothing. So the defense of the Giants was fresh. But the problem with the Raiders, the defense wasn't fresh when you're being beat down by the opposing offense. And your offense isn't helping you by going quickly 3 and outs, not sustaining drives. And of course, you get 30 dropped on you. Big problem coming out of the defense is Xavier McKinney having this interview where he says, I don't think Xavier McKinney's coming back. I think he's done. I think he's done. They're done with him because Wink Martindale's like, I don't know what he's talking about. I have open line communication with my defensive leaders. Whenever they have a problem, they can come talk to me. Xavier McKinney was like, we don't have open line communication when we have a problem, we are not being listened to. No one listens to us. And then Wink says, no, we do. You have a line of communication. What are you talking about? So I think Xavier McKinney's done. He's not coming back, which then frees up a spot for Dane Belton or a new safety they draft in the draft. But overall, we got our ass beat all season. We are not good. By the Raiders. We're not good. The Raiders were not actually a bad team. They just had a bad coach. They had talent. They got a coach that they cared about, and they played great. Boom. Let's move on. We're previewing week 10. We're previewing
Cowboys Giants, baby, big week.
Sure, we'll go with big week. We'll go with the big week.
Yes, big game. Against Cowboys Giants.
We'll say one thing right now. How about them Cowboys?
To the New York Giants, this is a rematch of week 1. The app, it wasn't even a football game. It was just a good old fashioned whooping. It was bad. The Cowboys, I believe, was it 50? Y'all dropped 50?
40-0.
40-0. It felt like 50. Yeah. It was 40-0 in week 1. You name it. Whatever went wrong, you name it, it happened to the New York Giants in week 1. You name it, it happened. Is it possible? Can the Giants bounce back and not get blown out by that much? Or is it going to be the same old, same old? I think it's going to be the same old because offensive line still not good.
It's worse. No.
Some people say it's actually better because Evan Neal's not starting. So there's that, which is funny shit.
But now you got Tommy DeVito.
And we got Tommy DeVito, man. Could Tommy DeVito do the unthinkable?
How many times did he get sacked against the Raiders?
Huh?
How many times did he get sacked against the Raiders?
Let me double check what the Raiders sack total was. The Raiders had 8 sacks.
8.
So the Cowboys are going to have 14.
Yeah.
Probably 20 or a million. I don't know. Probably infinity. The record actually is 15 actually by the New York Giants. They had a 15 in back in the 70s, I think. Hold up. NFL sack record by team. Timeout. Hit. Okay. Team in a game. It's not. I'm trying to. Oh, here it is. Here it is. The most sacks ever happened in a game was by the Eagles in 1952. They probably went back and redid it. It was 14. 14 sacks.
Back then.
Yeah, they weren't counting sacks back then, so they probably went back and counted all the sacks. What's funny is the top 3 most sacked games of all time actually involve the Eagles, the Giants, and the Cowboys. So number 1 is Philadelphia, 14 sacks in a 14-10 win against the Giants, which is funny, against the Giants. Number 2 is in 2007, the New York Giants sacked Donovan McNabb 12 times. You remember that game. Everyone remembers that game. In a 16-3 win. And then that's tied for second with Dallas beating Houston in 1985, 12 sacks. Chicago did it in 84, the 84 Bears. The St. Louis Cardinals did it in 80 with 12. The 66 Cowboys did it against Pittsburgh. The 61 Bears and the 60 Bears did it against Minnesota and Detroit in back-to-back years. Those are all tied for second with 12 sacks. Let me see if the 2020, the Seahawks sacked the Giants 11 times this year, which is tied for third all time. It happened this year. The Monday night game. That record that's 11. If they got one more sack, they would have tied for second with all the other teams. But let me see the game that happened this year. If it's in I think how many sacks did you have? Like what? Only 8, 9? I think it was 8.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, it was like 8. So yeah, shoot, you may break the record, Caleb. You may break the record. Offensive line ain't good. We're gonna have to run it a million times. Y'all just gonna have to stack the box. Could that help us? I don't know. Probably not.
It could. I mean, our rush defense ain't the greatest.
Yeah, rush defense ain't the greatest.
But our defense still has not let a 100-yard rusher or a 100-yard receiver all season. Still.
Well, you don't have to worry about have to worry about the receivers, Caleb. You don't got to worry about the receivers. You're fine. The only person you got to worry about is Saquon Barkley. That's it. Can the defense show up? Probably not, because the defense probably not going to show up because the offense is probably not going to sustain drives, so they're not going to give them breaks on the sideline. So they're probably going to be on the field a lot, and fatigue, tiredness. Cowboys are definitely going to score. When you're on the field for a lot of the time.
One thing that concerns me is our offensive line just playing as bad as they did, especially Terrence Steele. If Thibodeau is on that side, that's definitely going to be a problem for us. I think Thibodeau has 8.5 sacks.
Yeah, he has 8.5 sacks.
So we definitely, we can be vulnerable that in that way on the offensive line side of things, and that could disrupt our offense, but we'll get it right back. We'll get it right back from your guys' offense.
Yeah,
whether it's turnovers or just completely obliterating your offensive line. So it might not be anything to worry about there.
If the Giants win, if big old if they win the game like 10-7, like they win like 10-7, like it's not like a shootout. That's all I gotta say, because this offense doesn't have shootout capabilities. It's not, and if it does become a shootout, that would break my brain. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I don't think it has shootout capabilities. I don't think we have the gun for gun. You know what I mean? And the biggest gun is Tommy DeVito, and that's not big of a gun because they got Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott again has 2 losses against NFC East teams, which is funny because one of those is to the Commanders, which kind of weirds me out.
He has 2 losses against the Giants, period.
Technically, he has one, but one of those losses was because he got injured, and then he was kicked out the game, and he got the loss because he was the starter.
Well, the games that he started and finished, he has won 11 straight games.
Yeah, because and
that one he got hurt against, he won that game. He won that game.
Oh, he won that game?
We won that game, the one that he got hurt.
Okay, so we've beaten him when he's played a full game twice.
Yeah, in his rookie year.
His rookie year.
Hasn't won, and you guys haven't won since.
Yeah, so he's basically been undefeated. So he's been undefeated.
Yeah.
The only team he loses to on the regular is the Commanders, because they always steal a game from him.
Well, not the regular. I wouldn't say the regular. It's more like we split.
Yeah. You lose one of the games on the regular.
Yeah.
If you lose to an NFC East team.
Yeah, but also
when Dak starts,
a big factor
for you in an NFC East game, usually lose to the Commanders once a year. Usually, if you lose, which wears me out.
Yeah. And then I think another big factor is the fact that we're playing in Dallas. We have won 11 straight games at home, going back to last year, and it just seems like we're finally getting a home field advantage in that stadium. It's never felt like AT&T Stadium has ever had like that a big home field advantage for us. I think now it finally seems like We do have somewhat of a home field advantage there, and so yeah, that's just another factor to pile on all the rest of the stuff that goes against the Giants in this game. And yeah, it's just going to be another blowout.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. Not happening at all. But if it does happen, some wild magical thing, it's because the defense was like, we're gonna play like the '85 Bears and we're gonna whoop some behind. But it can't happen because the offense isn't gonna sustain enough drives, long drives to give them a break on the sideline. Like there's gonna be a couple of series where the Giants stop the Cowboys. They're gonna stop them, right? But at the end, it's not gonna do enough because they think I get right back on the field. You know, because I don't think the Giants' offense is gonna sustain long enough drives. Like here's the thing about some teams, Caleb, is your offense may stink, may not score a lot of points, but if they're on the field and they sustain drives and they kind of give you a long enough break on the sideline, your defense can still be refreshed and stop the opposing offense. You know, I think that's what the Jets offense was doing early on in the season. They sustained drives, so the defense was rested, but they didn't score. But then when the defense got back on the field, they didn't feel fatigued or tired, and they still played good. But then when you're against the Chargers last week, a good offense with a phenomenal young quarterback and a phenomenal running back, that is going to end up catching you. You need an offense to sustain drives so you can get a good break on the sideline. And I don't think the Giants have that. If the Giants win, it's 10-7, 10-3. It's low scoring. Cowboys win, they're dropping 40.
Yeah. The Cowboys, it's 17-point favorite. We're a 7, and coming from someone that does a betting show, you don't see those type of lines. You just don't see them. It's very rare that those happen.
You know the first time I saw it,
a lopsided matchup.
You know the first time I ever saw it? So you remember when the Broncos broke all those offensive records that year? Remember with Peyton Manning, his first year?
Yeah.
They were against Jacksonville, and Jacksonville hadn't won a game. And the line was 21. The line was 21. Jacksonville, Jacksonville lost the game, but they lost by 4. I think, yeah, or 7. I think it was like 20-13. And Paul, you remember Paul Nusley? Paul, remember that guy? He had a pick 6. Yeah, Plesney. He had a pick 6 in that game, which was crazy. But 17, man. You know what? I'm taking the 17, dog. I'm taking the points. I'm taking.
No,
I'm taking the 17, dog. Yeah, I'm taking the 17.
No, we're covering that. We're covering that.
Yeah, that's definitely an easy cover. Shit, what's the over under?
Shoot, probably not much. Probably low. It's probably a low over and under.
Yeah, because of us.
Yeah, because of you. Damn it. Hold on, over and
we're
under
checking it.
is at
Then we're gonna head on out.
38 and a half. That's low.
I'll take the over.
So they don't even expect us to score 40.
Yeah. So I'm gonna take the over. So I'll take the over.
Yeah.
So I think you guys are gonna.
Over.
Yeah, because you guys are gonna drop 40 and we're gonna get a field goal.
I think we're definitely gonna score 40.
Yeah, we're gonna get a field goal. So it's definitely the over.
That note, field goal?
They're gonna get a field goal.
Isn't Gano hurt? Isn't Gano hurt? How are you gonna get a field goal?
We have Randy Bullock.
Okay.
Or you guys give us like a pity touchdown at the end. We get a pity touchdown. We get a little pity touchdown. Is what happens. When everybody on your defense is like sitting on the bench, and no one's playing. But yeah, on that note, everyone, it's gonna be a horrible week.
Like Dante Fowler and Armstrong.
Yeah. No, but like, when you guys bring them in,
I don't know if you guys can stop them either.
Well, they're probably gonna be like, man, I don't want to be here either. Can I just go home? And then the Giants score really quickly, and then Dante Fowler's like, good, because I don't want to be out there anyway. Game's over. Like, leave me alone. Like, even the backups, come on, man. Some of the backups are like, yeah, forget this. I don't want to play this nonsense. But it is what it is. It's going to be a bad week. One of us is definitely going to be extremely happy, and the owners are going to be really, really sad. So, boom.
Yeah, we all know that it's going to be.
Yep, it's going to be Caleb. So, to the New York Giants, will you listen to Michael Irvin?
Listen to everybody. Nobody believes in you. What are you prepared to do about it? Don't let no one come into your house, take your meal, do what you need to do today. I'm not nervous. I'm just telling you.
Well, it's not your house. You're on the road, but you get my drift, New York Giants. Prove me wrong. Caleb, where can people find you?
You can find me at NFLCaleb22 on Instagram and Twitter /X. And you can find me on this channel doing betting the NFL on Wednesdays at 8 o'clock, making you guys money. That's all we do. We pick 5 of our best bets every single week throughout the NFL season, all the way up to the Super Bowl. And that's what we did. The goal is make you guys money, put money in your pockets. And so go check that out.
All right. My name is Faraz Muthana. You can find me here every Friday, 3 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock Eastern on Good Friends, Better Rivals, as well as on our entertainment channel today, 8 o'clock Pacific, 11 o'clock Eastern. Me and Adelia's Open Table. We talking SAG after the strike. It's over? Question mark. We'll see. They got the deal down. I also talked about the SAG after strikes on my radio show, which is every Wednesday, 9 o'clock Pacific, 11 o'clock Eastern is 12 o'clock Eastern, which is midnight. Next week, I'm looking like I'm gonna be interviewing a director and star of a short film that I know of. It's called Pressure. So we'll see if that interview is wrapped up and it's definitely good. But if it's not, it's just gonna be a same old Ferris on the radio ranting about the world. Last week, or this Wednesday, I ranted about how unions need to remember that the union works for you. Like, the workers need to realize that you are the union. You don't like what's going on in the union, you vote them out. You have power. As well as the Houston Rockets fighting back the minimalist nature of modern day NBA with their BS. They created the Dunksternaut. It's an astronaut that can dunk. These new jerseys with the wavy writing. It's not block letters, like the Utah Jazz ones, which is disgusting. So I also talked about that as well. Fighting for the soul of sports, Caleb. The soul of sports is what you're wearing and the logo. But on that note, everyone, thank you guys so much for joining us. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.